Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. This is One-on-One coming to you from the Tisch WNET studio. You can look outside. We're here in the heart of Manhattan. Here he is, Blair Underwood. It just says actor here. Let me give a little background. Yeah, it says actor. No, but he's in a soldier's play over here at American Airlines Theater, right here on West 42nd Street. It's going to be opening up on January 21st. We're taping early in December. Also, you were in a show that I was obsessed with, along with millions of others, back in the 90s. Can we call that back in the day?
We can call it back in the 90s, because it was. We can even say back in the 2000s.
L.A. Law.
Back in the 90s, L.A. Law.
How great was L.A. Law?
Oh, it was amazing, man. You know, I actually started right behind you at ABC. I did One Life to Live here.
You can't see it. Bob, can you get that shot? By the way, yeah, ABC is literally right behind you. That was where it was?
No, I did One Life to Live there, but right after that, a year after that, I did L.A. Law for
So you went from a soap.
I went from a soap to, I think, a couple jobs here and there, but then L.A. Law, it changed my life, man. I mean, from 1987 to 1994. Yeah.
You were the man. You and Jimmy Smith. You were the man.
I wasn't the man. I was.
You were a man who was an important man.
I'm going to go with that, Steve.
It's true.
I'll go with that. Well,
it's true.
Thank you.
Listen, in the notes it says your first love, always theater.
Yeah.
How long before you got to theater? By the way, we'll talk more about Soldier's Play in just a second. First time you got there was?
First time to theater?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I went to college at Carnegie Mellon and studied theater. So the first play I did outside of Hollywood was a play called The Game of Love and Chance in Los Angeles. And I did Shakespeare in the Park in '93 with Kevin Kline and Andre Brower, and that was '93. But yeah, you know, for me, once I actually left One Life to Live, the soap opera, and moved out to LA to do a pilot, you know, things started happening for me in film and television. But my passion is always the theater. And anytime I get one foot on the boards, well, you know, I mean, you hear actors say this all the time, but it's the fact that we're in the same room, you know, whether it's cold and chilly. Like, we're talking about how chilly the studio is, right? Right?
Blair was saying, what's going on in this meat locker?
It's freezing up in here.
Yeah.
But we breathe the same air. We feel the same dynamics. We feel the same energy in the room, and that you just don't get in film and television. I love film and television because it lasts forever.
Yeah.
You know, what we shoot today, even, our grandkids can watch forever.
That's right.
What happens in that theater, you know, that electricity is gone for that day, and then you get to recreate it the next day.
Let's talk about the electricity. Soldier's Play, set in 1944 in
Louisiana, at Fort Neal, Louisiana.
Involves race.
Oh, yeah.
Involves military life.
Yep.
Involves a whole bunch of things. Set it up for us a little bit.
Yeah, so this play, the Soldier's Play, started in 1981. I was one of Denzel Washington's first plays with Sam Jackson, Jim Pickens on Grey's Anatomy.
I'm sorry, who was that, Denzel?
You know, Denzel, the Washington.
I heard he had it pretty good.
He's good. He's a pretty good actor, right? He's pretty good.
I'm sorry. You know, I was born and raised in a boys' club in Newark, and Denzel's stuff is all, even though he was in Westchester, everything about the boys' club.
He's been a great spokesperson for that.
I'm sorry.
No.
That's a non sequitur. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So they did the play first, and then they did the movie in 1983 called A Soldier's Story.
Right.
So, but the play started off Broadway with the NEC. Give them much respect and props for that. And it's been in regional theaters all this time, but has never been on Broadway.
Never.
So it's the first time on Broadway after 35 years. But yeah, Fort Neal, Louisiana, 1944. It's an all-black kind of platoon. On this military base, and a murder happens. It's a murder mystery at the end of the day. This murder happens. My character, Captain Davenport, comes in. He's already on the base as a military police officer, an MP, but he's a trained lawyer, so he has to investigate the case. See, all that lawyer work on television all
it helps,
full circle, yeah.
And who else is in there with you?
David Allen Greer, who's amazing, 3-time Tony Award nominee.
Funny
and very dramatic. You know, he's a Yale-trained, Shakespearean-trained actor, and like I said, been nominated for 3 Tonys in the past. So he's another one who loves coming back to the theaters as much as possible. But he's phenomenal. His character is the character who is murdered, and we're trying to investigate who actually murdered him. But this play, Steve, man, it deals. Yes, it's some race relations, but it's about you know, the South. It's about self-love, self-hatred, self-awareness, how we see ourselves, without giving the mystery away. But it's a fascinating. It won the Pulitzer Prize in the 1980s for that reason, because it just really uncovers, unpacks so many of our. Charles Fuller wrote it.
Charles, okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Not about Broadway, not about this particular play. Do you think a lot about race relations?
Man, I got to tell you, I think more about race relations now than I did maybe even 5 years ago.
Because?
Yeah. I think because the political narrative we have, the political awareness, you know, we're all acutely aware of the dynamics of race and politics. which are inextricably linked, oftentimes. You know, when I started in the '80s, it was more. I mean, think about it was the Cosby Show, which has a different connotation now. It was the Cosby Show, and it was the '80s. It was the you know, good times, and as an actor of African descent, you know, many of the roles I would take and many of the roles discussed was, you know, let's find roles that show us as human beings. That's not always about race. And now it's a different time. You know, now it's a time in our everyday conduct, but also in the world and in the arts, where we're kind of really starting to explore even more and even deeper the issues of race.
I don't want to make too much of this play, but it strikes me, and again, we're blessed to have so many people from the entertainment industry, from Broadway, joining us.
Yeah.
But it strikes me that at a time like this, when we're as polarized as we are,
Yeah.
as divided as we are, as difficult as it seems sometimes to talk to each other about anything, does it make what is going on Broadway in certain plays, in certain situations, and in the media, long-winded question, I know, does it make it more important than ever?
I think it does, because the fact that you and I, Steve, we're talking right now, and we do, as you say, we need to talk to each other. We have to start with conversation. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes on both sides, you know, our backs are up and we're resistant to having that conversation. In the theater, or a movie, put on a movie, read a book, but especially in the theater, you can be in the space and you can watch something with a certain disconnect. But again, because we're in that space and we're sharing that energy, you can feel it in a certain way. Much
Bring
more
people
than
together.
reading
I'm sorry for interrupting. Does it bring
Yeah.
people together sometimes?
I think
in a way they otherwise would
I
not
think it
be together.
illuminates. I think it illuminates. Yes, it does bring people together. But I think it also educates and entertains. Our job is to entertain at the end of the day, but it can also educate at the same time.
Absolutely. You love what you do.
I love what I do, man.
So when you're a kid, you knew when that you wanted to either be on stage or just act, whatever you want to say, but be out there.
Yeah, I knew when. See, in my household, we had to go to college. It was a foregone conclusion. Whether you like it or not, you're going to college.
Where'd you go?
I went to Carnegie Mellon. But when I learned you could go to college and actually learned how to act and entertain, I was like, yo, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to college to learn how to do that.
Wow.
And when I learned that they actually pay you to act and perform, I was like, I'm definitely doing that.
Let me just say this. The fact that you stay as relevant, as successful, and as compelling as you are from when you started, when all of us fell in love with you and the other characters on LA Law, it's impressive, and I'm excited to see what's ahead for you.
Oh, man. Steve, I appreciate that.
This is Blair Underwood. He's in A Soldier's Play. It's playing over at the, down the street, American Airlines Theater, 227 West 42nd Street, New York City. It starts on January 21st. We're taping a little bit before that. Make sure you check it out. I know I'm going to check it out with my wife.
Please
Thank
do.
you, my friend.
I appreciate you. Make sure you come backstage. Check us out.
You got it.
All right.
We're right back right after this. Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by United Airlines, New Jersey Sharing Network, the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., the Russell Berry Foundation, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, Fedway Associates, Berkeley College, and by St. Joseph's Health. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and by New Jersey Monthly. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.